one heard this incredibly beautiful story that happened in a local school. The teacher, in school nowadays, we have a mixture of what we call categories of humans, where we categorize everyone into different, I don't know why we do it, actually. I don't know why we categorize, but that's what we do. We identify through measurements and comparisons each one's capabilities and prognosis to what we measure. I don't know if it's normality or if it's just a game we play. But anyway, schools are mixed with diverse ranges of pupils who are categorized, and this young boy in this school had some sort of form of light, what they call autism. But he was able to engage and mix in every other specified way with the other children. So he was not treated any different. And one day the teacher, in a normal class day, this is primary school, asked the students, we're going to have a question and answer session. I want each one of you to ask me a question. You can write it down, or we can put our hands up and do it one at a time. And they chose to put our hands up and do it one at a time. So each child asked a question. And when it came to this young lad, this autistic lad, teacher says, what's your question? He said, my question is, who is who? And apparently the teacher was like, I don't know what you mean. And the child said, well, is that not a question? She said, yes, but it's not a question about anything. He says it is. It's about who? The teacher said, well, but we cannot define who. She said, you must be the who. He said, well, if you cannot define who, how can you define me, who you say is the who? Apparently all the children laughed and gave the teacher a reason to pass by and change the subject. What a deep and profound statement for a child to make. Cannot argue that it's a question, but it's not specifically aimed at something until we try and create a way to aim it at something. The teacher had no choice but to aim the question back at the young lad. And the young lad, I don't know if it's super intelligence or what we call naivety, ignorance, not conditioned enough, not programmed enough. But the young lad was able to say, well, if you cannot define who, meaning the word, how can you define me? Meaning, how come you give me the name? How come you diagnose or give me this label of autistic? These kind of talks are not informative. They're not humorous. They're not aimed at a particular right way or wrong way. But I find it the most intelligent and wise question that any child has ever asked. Who is who? What is what? Are they not questions? Are they not the leading word towards a question? You have to sit with this. You cannot understand this from this speaker or from that child. You have to sit with this. Who is who? Can we find who? Can we establish who? And who is it that wants to find who and establish who? Can that one be defined? Can you be defined? Can you be categorized? Your mind can create millions of categorizations. We as a human race, we love to box and seal and put one in a little shelf. That one has this, that one has that, that one has this. And of course it helps in our day-to-day physical body life when we categorize illnesses and we have specific ways of dealing with that. But in the mind, what can be categorized? What can be what? How can be how? Where can be where? Who can be who? Thank you for that child, for that moment of inspiration, that moment of wisdom. I don't think the teacher would have been angry. The teacher would have been confused. And that's the object for us that is speaking on behalf of the child. You'll be confused. The minute you're confused, you have to start really looking at who the questioner is. Who is this who? Namaste.